What's up, guys? Mitchell Watts
and Colton Love
at TC Customs Town & Country TV, and today we've got a fun little treat for you guys. We've got the new MagnaFlow exhaust system for the 2021 Ford Bronco. Speaking of 2021 Ford Bronco, we are actually giving this one away. So by the time you're watching this video, you might actually be in the middle of 2 times entries. So if you want your chance to win this Bronco behind me, check out TCcustoms.com, pick out any merchandise, any hats, shirts, phone cases, whatever it is you want. If it's merchandise, it's automatic 2 entries right now on TCcustoms.com, so go ahead and check that out. So without further ado, Colton, what have we got here?
What we have here is a MagnaFlow exhaust for the new 2021 Bronco. They are one of the first ones to actually come out with the exhaust and have them ready to ship and put on.
Absolutely. So let's just take a look at, now this is, in this video, we're not only gonna unbox the kit, but we're also going to install it on my personal Bronco. So that's gonna be fun to see kind of a little bit about what that process looks like. And who knows, if you guys smash the like button, maybe we might even let you listen to it.
There we go.
All right. Now that's one thing I do like about MagnaFlow. Man, they ship with a whole lot of foam, that's for sure. All right, so we got a lot of parts going on here. Let's start taking them apart and just kind of setting down and show you what you've got. As you can see, we've got the kit completely laid out and actually put into place so you can kind of see how the kit actually functions. It's a pretty sweet little setup that I'm going to let Colton talk about the details and the things that you can do to have different loudnesses. So if you will, kind of take us through that.
Yeah, so for starters, first of all, let's look at this thing. You know, nice mandrel bent, 3-inch exhaust. And right here, this is kind of what MagnaFlow has done and come up with to kind of help you tune your exhaust to how you want it. There's a few different steps. This, first of all, is going to be the loudest step right here. This kind of lets it flow all the way through there and back around, so it kind of quietens it down. If you want it to get real loud, though, you take all this off, you cap this thing off, and it's just running straight out the back. Now, there's a few different options in between there, between removing that J-pipe, this baffle, replacing it with this smaller cap right here. That's kind of the idea. That way you're not just buying one exhaust and you're kind of stuck with the noise that it makes. You're actually getting an exhaust that you can tune yourself to your liking, and it's pretty easy to do as well. As you can see, it'll just be 1 or 2 clamps that you pop on and off to kind of take that from you know, as quiet as you want it to step it up to as loud as you want it. Yeah,
absolutely. So while he's over there talking about the cool like technology side, I'm like, hey, they gave me a patch. So it is nice that they've got a little overlanding patch. And that actually brings me to my next topic of why I selected this particular kit. As you guys know, we're partnershiped with MagnaFlow. We sell their stuff on our website, TC Customs. So shameless plug, this link for this exhaust system will be down below if you guys want to take a look at it. But what I like about this kit is because it's a high clearance kit. I fully intend after this build, and by the way, this is going to be a full build series on my Bronco, showing things from what exhaust we do, what lift kit we do, what wheels and tires. We are literally throwing the entire kitchen sink at my personal Bronco. So if you stay subscribed, you'll be able to see that from the beginning to the end. But the reason I like this kit is because it is designed to be a very high clearance kit. As you'll see, this is where the exhaust comes out of, and it actually comes out underneath the vehicle. There's technically not an exhaust tip that sticks out of the back of the vehicle. You're gonna wait and see that later on in the rest of the video, but I'm very excited to see what this thing looks like bolted up to my truck. All right, so we've got the Bronco on the lift, and I've got the MagnaFlow exhaust system. As you can see the muffler right here. I'm gonna try and show you what the size comparison is between these two, but this MagnaFlow is a lot smaller, and I don't know if you know, so it's actually got a straight pass-through look on the muffler itself. So I'm very excited. Now, as I've already mentioned to you, or maybe I haven't, but this exhaust system features a non-drone technology. NDT is what MagnaFlow is calling it. They give you different types of baffles and end caps and J-pipes to basically choose how loud you want it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and get this thing installed. We're gonna start out with the Quietest exhaust system, and then we're gonna keep modifying it until we have this thing exactly like I want it for my personal Bronco. Before we do start the install of the muffler, I do wanna point out to you how much space the big muffler is the factory muffler is taking up. One of the reasons that I bought this exhaust system is because they claim that it's a higher clearance exhaust system from the factory. So if you're rock crawling and things like that, it's supposed to give you more clearance. So just kind of take a mental or a visual at how much ground clearance this exhaust system gives you, and we're going to compare that later on in the video to see what it actually does after the fact. All right, so we've got the exhaust installed with the first setting. We're going to start with the quietest exhaust and listen to it all the way up. But the first thing you'll notice, this thing is ridiculously high clearance. We had it halfway down. You can't even see the exhaust system. You have to kind of pretty much look underneath it, but there is your exhaust tip. You know, that camera is extremely low to the ground, pretty much on the ground if the vehicle was on a rack. But the amount of clearance is fantastic, especially if we ever decided we wanted to put a high clearance bumper on here. Wink, wink. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set down the microphone on the ground right next to the exhaust. That way we can hear what it sounds like in the most quiet sound setting possible. So here we go. So it looks like on that quietest setting, it looks like it has an idle decibel of about 68 decibels, as you can see, not too far from the exhaust tip, with a max when you're revving it up at 88 decibels. So at a first glance, just from being in the vehicle, revving it up, you can notice a difference. Inside the vehicle, it's very, very minor. So you can tell it's a little bit deeper than the factory exhaust system is, but I'm really excited to hear what the different sound levels are, because this does feature their X-Mod, I think is what they call it, their tunable non-drone technology, where you can basically tune it, the customer can, however they want to. Let's go ahead and get it back up in the air, and let's make it a little bit more loud, and then we'll keep stepping in to the extreme mode. All right, so we are taking off the baffle at the end of that little J pipe, and we're going to swap it off with the end cap, thank you very much, and just see what that does to the exhaust sound itself. All right, so with those changes, it looks like the idle decibels is just the same, 68 decibels. Now let's do this. Let's go ahead and see what the max decibel is. So let me reset this thing. So we are looking at 90 decibels while revving it up. Once again, in an idle situation, not driving down the road. It sounds shockingly similar like the first section. So now let's go ahead and make it just a little bit louder. All right, so now we'll go ahead and pull out the J pipe itself, and we'll take this end cap and put it on place instead of the, so basically we're just taking out this little J pipe. Now, one thing to note is that the baffle itself, the frame is kind of in the way, so you're not going to be able to fit this piece, you know, on unless you maybe drop this thing down. But even then, it's going to be so close to the frame, I don't know that I'd recommend putting this baffle right next to the frame, if that makes sense. So we're just going to go straight to that end cap. Now that we've got that end cap installed without the J hook, let's go ahead and see what it sounds like. So fluctuating right at about the same decibels at idle, maybe 1 decimal or like a half a decibel louder. It's negligible. I can't say that word, negligible. It's very, very minor, the difference between those two. So now let's go ahead and turn this to max and see what the exhaust sounds like as far as decibel is concerned with the loudest setting that we've got here. So it looks like the peak decibels is 92.8 decibels. It sounds still good. It doesn't sound terrible. Is it going to be like a V8? Absolutely not, but I'm pretty pleased. The main thing though, I am super excited about that high clearance. I mean, look at all that space you get. So we forgot to do a decibel meter on a stock Bronco. We do have this one that we're going to do that on. So let's go ahead and get it cranked up and listen to the decibels. So it looks like we're floating around 69, 70 decibels. Now keep in mind, this one's on the ground, so it's actually closer to the ground where the sound waves might be bouncing up and directly into this. That might have something to do with it. But just realize this is not an extremely scientific test. It's just generally speaking to show you what the difference in the exhaust system is. So now I'm going to switch it over to max and rev it up and let us hear what that sounds like too. .9 max decibels. Once again, the truck, when we were working on it, we were taking the audible, or the decibel meter was when it was technically on the rack, so you do have a little bit of noise that is lost from not hitting the ground and coming back up. I guess what I'm trying to say is that the MagnaFlow exhaust system is not crazy loud. It's really just designed to tune the sound of the exhaust, if that makes sense. All right, now it is the next day. The car has been sitting out overnight and it's 37 degrees right now. So let's hear what this thing sounds like with a cold start. Sounds almost identical, but does sound good. Now let's go ahead and get it on the interstate and see what this thing sounds like when the engine's under load. All right, so now that we've got the Bronco on the road, let's kind of give you some ideas as to what it sounds like in the car while we're driving. Now, in full disclosure, the vehicle is sitting here at idle right now. I've got the auto start stop, which is a fantastic feature. I've got that turned off right now, and I'm gonna be quiet so you can hear what it sounds like at a normal idle. So as you can hear, there's absolutely nothing to listen to. It sounds bone stock when you're sitting in idle, which is another thing that I love about this. After I've had probably 30, 45 minutes worth of driving before filming this, is that it kind of feels like a very stock Bronco as far as the sound is concerned until you step on it. And that's when you really notice that difference. So the light just turned red or turned green. So as you can hear, that is very similar to how I would normally accelerate on a daily basis. Now, based on the camera settings and the microphone settings for this video, it might have amplified it a little bit, but trust me, this is, in my opinion, the way that I like my exhaust, the perfect tone for a daily driver. Any louder, I wouldn't be happy, but the loudest setting on this exhaust system is where I am definitely going to leave it. Now let's go ahead and accelerate pretty hard to get on the interstate. As you can hear, that exhaust note is much more aggressive as you start accelerating pretty hard. But once again, I think they hit the nail on the head. Any louder, it'd be annoying or raspy or whatever, but I think this is the perfect blend as far as the noise is concerned. And I still cannot get over the amazing amount of high clearance that you get out of this new exhaust system. And there you have it. That wraps up my review of the new exhaust system from MagnaFlow for the new 21 and 2022 Ford Bronco. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are interested in buying this exhaust system, I'll have the links linked directly down below. If you use that link, it should get you an extra discount. So make sure to check out that link down below if you want a discount on this particular exhaust system. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and enter to win the new Bronco that we're giving away. That is right, we are giving away a 4-door Bronco that's been lifted by TCcustoms. And I believe, depending on when you're watching this video, we're doing 2 times entries right now. So for every $1 spent, get you 2 entries into that giveaway. So go ahead and check out those links down below, because every merchandise, hat, shirt, phone case, whatever it is that you want is an automatic extra entry into the giveaway. But once again, right now we're doing 2 times entries, so check that out, link down below. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel with that bell notification turned on so you don't miss a single video. Peace. Not bad.